Ciaran, you weren't with us yesterday and we were totally lost without you.
Thank you, John.
We're really glad to see you back because we were falling apart, you know.
Well, I'm taking my electrical skills in power now.
What are you doing at the moment?
Well, I'm wiring up the speakers, which I left perfectly with Joe Murphy. They were working perfectly. And so far, there's 2 wires cut. He's blowing every fuse in the van. I don't know what I'm going to do with them.
He's a problem here.
We must that headgear too, you know, to guide us and so that we could always look out for you sort of as a beacon, you know.
Right. Well, hold on there now, just to get my headgear because I forgot about it.
Oh, that's much better.
Does that send a message that the government thinks we're all clowns and that we're all just going to bend over and do exactly what they want us to do?
Well, I know you know that that's not the case. That you'll certainly not be for bending over for them.
Well, I was just listening to the news this morning coming up the road, and there's a boy called Ollie Wren, I think his name is. I think he's from Europe somewhere, and he's telling us what to do now.
Right.
Wonder what kind of job was that he got?
He's in Europe.
I thought my father was the only man that was allowed to tell me what to do.
Aye, so he's from somewhere in Europe, and he's
somewhere. We're not sure. He sounds like a German. There was a German there, 1946, 1947. Oh no, that was Adolf Hitler. I wonder if Mr. Ollie Wren related to him in some way.
Right, and he thinks he has some say over what we're doing in this country.
I think he must think he has anyway, but we're going to send him a message that's completely different. See, he has Enda. Enda's one of the SS troops for him.
All right.
And Enda's going to send the message to us.
To toe the line?
Oh, well, we're not getting a choice. We're being told that we're becoming criminals on the 31st of March.
Right.
Allegedly. By laws that don't actually exist.
What do you mean laws that don't actually exist?
Well, I was looking for the law that Enda Kenny and Phil Hogan was telling us that we were going to wreck by not paying the household tax. And I can't find it.
What do you mean? These guys are saying that there's a law that will be breaking, but this law doesn't actually exist?
If there is, I can't find it. I know we had Jimmy Hart on our local radio station last week telling us we broke the law. I went on and asked him what law did we break.
Right.
Now, I think I might be breaking the law wearing this.
Oh, I'd say you probably are.
There has to be some kind of law against humanity or something like that.
That's definitely some sort of public order offence.
Oh, definitely it has to be. But when I questioned Jimmy Hart on the radio and asked him what law we were breaking, he quoted the Constitution.
Right.
Now, as far as I'm aware, the Constitution isn't law. I do realise that the laws are enshrined within the Constitution.
So you think these guys are maybe, these politicians are just trying to hoodwink us?
Of course they are. Scaremonger. Telling us that they're going to take the money out of our ESB bills and things like that, when they know that that's totally against our constitutional rights.
So really they're just telling us lies
I wouldn't say they're lying.
To poke fear into people's minds.
John, I wouldn't say they're lying. What I would say is they're bending the truth.
Right.
Now, which is different to lying, because you can't accuse a politician of lying to us. Like, politicians wouldn't do that. Like, I remember whenever they were around looking to get elected, and I believe one politician said that we weren't going to pay the bondholders a red cent.
Right.
Well, he wasn't really lying because there is no such thing as a red cent.
Right. Oh, I see.
Like,
yes, right.
Of course we weren't going to pay the bondholders a red cent because they aren't red.
Ah, right.
The cents are brown.
I understand.
The man wasn't telling a lie.
All right. So.
Like, do you understand what I mean?
Oh, I do, surely. So we just have to listen more carefully to what they say in future.
Every word. Take every word and listen to the words. Don't be listening to the statement.
Right.
Like Jimmy Hart did say we were breaking the law by not paying the household tax, which he is semi-correct. But the law he's talking about is contract law.
Right.
So if we register, we have formed a contract with the people of Ireland. Everybody thinks we're forming a contract with the government. The government are the people of Ireland.
Right.
So if I register, I have formed a contract with you.
Right. So that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
Contracts.
It's forming contracts.
So if we don't put our name onto a piece of paper and say that we're going to pay this thing, they really don't have a hold over us.
Well, I don't see it. See, unfortunately, what the older generation didn't realise is when we were born, our parents formed a contract with the state.
What do you mean by that?
Well, when we were born, they signed a birth certificate, and the state borrowed money on my behalf.
Right.
Without telling me. Now, the fact that I was only a couple of days old when the contract was signed, I think somebody should have actually came and told me that I was borrowing millions and millions of pounds.
So,
that I would have to pay back.
Do the ordinary people know this?
Well, I don't think they do. They don't realise that all birth certs are a contract of repayment and taxes, and the government uses our birth certs that when we become 18 we will become employed, and by becoming employed we'll pay tax, and we're then a benefit to the country.
It sounds to me as if it's something that the ordinary people should go away and have a look at.
Well, they should, but unfortunately, unless, I'm not saying the ordinary people are stupid or anything like that there, but unless you're willing to sit down and actually read and understand what you're reading. And that's why when the government makes up a law, they make it so hard for the general public to understand it. When you start reading it, you'll read it for 10 minutes and you'll say, oh Jesus, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
And then you'll go away.
As if it's written in a different language altogether?
It's a complete different language. It's written in a language that the common 5'8" person will not understand, purposely.
Right.
Like if I say to you, don't walk on that yellow line, it's against the law. Well, it's quite clear, don't walk on that yellow line. But the government, what they'll say to you is, see that line over that line may be yellow today, but it mightn't be yellow tomorrow. And if it isn't yellow tomorrow, I still don't want you to walk on it the next day. And we might take it away the next day, but don't walk on it. Type of attitude. Make it as difficult as possible for anybody to understand.
And of course, if they don't tell us what they're doing in the first place, like with these birth certificates, as you say, then how are we supposed to how are we meant to know what they're actually doing behind our backs?
You only find out after the fact that you have a lifetime contract with the Irish government. But the Irish government are the Irish people, so you're responsible to your next door neighbour.
Right.
You've literally borrowed money off your next door neighbour, but your next door neighbour has borrowed the same amount of money off you.
So I definitely think these contracts, whether it be birth certificates or whether it should be a contract that people are being persuaded or coerced into getting into at the moment with the likes of the household charge, etc., people need to look into this and make up their own minds and not just take what the government are saying as granted that that's what they must do.
Well, there's a quite simple saying, and funny, I was actually thinking about it. My father said to me one night, way back years ago, ask my brother, am I a liar? Your brother's never going to tell anybody that his brother is a liar. So ask my brother, am I a liar?
Right.
Now, another thing I was actually thinking about this morning was, I go back into all these sayings about daylight, robbing daylight, and things like that. And, you know, taking the last drop of blood. The old saying, you're going to take the last drop.
Yes.
Well, that actually came from the famine. And what it was is, the normal man on the road, he had a cow and he used to bleed it so to get food for his family, and then mix the food into the milk, or the blood into the milk, and make a very nutritional meal.
Right.
Right? But some farmers got greedy and they took the last drop.
Ah, right.
And the last drop was the cow died. So the next day they couldn't feed their family.
So what you're trying to say is that the government need to be careful that they don't do the same with the Irish people now?
Well, that's what the government are doing. They're taking the last drop of blood that we have. They're taking our last pennies.
Yes, I'm with you now. Well, listen, all very, very, very interesting. Lots of stuff for people to go away and research themselves, because the information's all out there.
Oh yeah, it's there if you want to read it.
Listen, I better let you get on with the valuable work you're doing there at putting all those things right, that you know, the mess that was left by Joe yesterday for you to attend to this morning.
He's not a bad roofer.
Right.
But we'll never give him a job in electrics.
Right.
No, I think his qualifications as a roofer is quite good.
Right, well.
And my honest opinion is Andy Kenny should go back teaching and stop trying to run the... Oh no, he's not a qualified teacher, sorry.
All right, so
he can't even go back to that job.
Well, he may go on the dole then.
He has a good pension.
Oh well.
He doesn't need the dole. He's not like me. Like, I'm not getting a big pension at the end of my service to the country.
Well, so he's sorted then?
Oh, he's sorted.
We'll just get the rest of the country sorted now, we'll be alright.
Oh, well, like if I can get half a Endless pension, the both of us could live wealthy.
Well, that's true. Maybe
know,
get the odd wee holiday as well.
Well, like 130,000 a year, I could live on 70,000 a year, no problem.
I think I could.
Could you manage it, John?
I could manage okay in the other 60.
Right, that'd be fair enough. That'd be fair enough. John, I'm away back to work now.
That's dead on then.
Thank you.
Let you get on with it.